Hey, stop. Hold up a second.
Well, I just paid, man. I got the receipt.
Yeah, well, this looks off. We've had a lot of issues lately.
Off how? I paid in lane 3. You can check it.
A receipt doesn't always mean everything's clean.
Then take it. Check the damn register.
Or if you come with me to the back, or I call the police right now.
Fine. Call them. I didn't do anything wrong.
The video starts the way most retail footage does. Silent, flat colors, slightly warped perspective from a ceiling corner. Ridgeway Market, Aisle 6, Columbus, Ohio. Timestamp burned into the frame. 4/17, 6:12 and 9 seconds. A black man in his early 30s walks into view carrying a hand basket. He's tall, athletic, neat-looking in a dark hoodie and work boots, with a gray beanie pulled low. A lanyard hangs from his neck, an ID badge clipped to it, like he just got off a shift somewhere that requires credentials. His name, later confirmed through the police report, is Marcus Hill. Marcus isn't doing anything that reads as suspicious on camera. He doesn't scan for blind spots. He doesn't avoid employees. He moves like someone on a list, in, out, done. He compares 2 items on the shelf, portable battery packs, then takes one. He adds a pack of work gloves, a phone charger, and a small box set of wireless earbuds from a locked peg that's already been opened by an employee. He heads toward the front. At 6:18 and 41 seconds, Marcus arrives at checkout lane 3. The cashier is a young woman with a tight ponytail and a store vest, Kelsey Tran, 22. The camera angle doesn't capture the card reader screen, but it captures posture and rhythm. Marcus sets items down, leans forward slightly, talks briefly. Kelsey scans. The little red laser flashes across barcodes. She pauses once, calls for a price check, then continues. Marcus taps his card. He waits. Kelsey reaches under the counter and pulls out a receipt. Marcus takes it and folds it in half without looking, the way people do when they already trust what just happened. He slips it into his wallet. He picks up the bag and walks toward the exit, calm, unhurried. This is the last normal moment. At 6:20 and 7 seconds, he's intercepted 3 steps from the sliding doors by loss prevention, a heavy-set man in plain clothes with an earpiece. Gavin Rowe, 41. Another employee closes in from the side, not quite blocking Marcus, but shaping the space so he can't just keep walking. On camera, Rowe holds out a hand and points toward Marcus's bag. Marcus stops. His body language changes instantly, shoulders raised, palms open, the universal "what's going on" stance. He reaches for his wallet and offers something, likely the receipt, without being asked twice. Rowe doesn't take it right away. Instead, Rowe points again, sharper now. He speaks in a way that looks practiced, short phrases, controlled tone, meant to be heard by nearby shoppers. People slow down. A couple near the drink coolers stare, and then pretend not to. Marcus keeps his hands visible and nods, as if trying to cooperate fast enough to keep this from turning into a scene. He pulls the folded receipt out and holds it up. Rowe finally takes it, looks at it for a beat, then shakes his head. Rowe gestures toward the service desk. Marcus hesitates. He says something, his mouth moves in a longer sentence like an explanation. He points back toward lane 3. He even points down at his bag like everything's right here. Rowe's response is immediate. He lifts his chin toward the exit and then rotates his finger in a circle, a turn around, come with me motion. The second employee steps closer. Marcus doesn't resist. He doesn't pull away. He doesn't raise his voice. He just exhales, visible even on the grainy feed, and walks toward the service desk with them. At 6:22 and 33 seconds, the camera catches Kelsey, the cashier, peeking over from lane 3. She's watching now, frozen. Her face reads like she knows this is getting bigger than a receipt dispute. 2 minutes later, a manager appears. Dana Klein, late 30s, hair pulled back, keys clipped to her belt. She holds the receipt, points at a monitor behind the desk, and speaks to Rowe like she's trying to be definitive. Marcus stands there with his bag still in hand. He looks smaller now, not physically but socially boxed in by uniforms and authority. Shoppers pass behind him. A child in a bright jacket stares openly until a parent tugs them away. Dana's expression hardens. She looks past Marcus toward the front doors. That's when Rowe brings out his phone. He dials. The camera doesn't record audio, but the body language is loud. Rowe's shoulders square as if he's shifting from customer service to enforcement. Dana folds her arms. The second employee positions himself half a step behind Marcus, close enough that Marcus would feel it. Marcus speaks again, longer, more urgent. He taps his wallet, then points at the bag, then holds his hands out like check it right now. Dana shakes her head. Rowe keeps talking into the phone. The official call log later notes the reason in a single line: male suspect, theft, refusing to cooperate. But the camera shows Marcus cooperating the whole time. At 6:28 and 19 seconds, the first police cruiser rolls into the frame through the glass doors. The officer steps inside and looks straight at Marcus before anyone even points. And Marcus, still holding the bag, still standing where they told him to stand, doesn't look angry. He looks like he already understands why this is happening. The clip ends on a freeze frame of the officer approaching, hand near his belt, while Roe stands slightly behind Marcus's shoulder like he's ready to hand him off. And the question that would later haunt the case isn't whether Marcus paid. It's simpler than that. If the receipt was in Marcus's wallet the entire time, why did Ridgeway Market act like it didn't exist? The police officer enters without urgency. Even without audio, the pattern is familiar: measured steps, relaxed shoulders, eyes scanning the room before locking onto one person. Officer Daniel Brooks, 12 years with the Columbus Police Department, East Side Patrol. He stops about 6 feet from Marcus, not closer. Gavin Rowe starts talking immediately. He talks too long for a simple shoplifting claim. His hands move as much as his mouth, pointing at the bag, then at Marcus, then making a vague sweeping motion toward the exit, like he's reenacting something that didn't happen the way he says it did. Dana Klein stands beside him, arms crossed. She adds short confirmations at intervals, not details, just reinforcement. Marcus tries to speak. He raises the receipt, now fully unfolded. He points to the date, the time, the register number. He angles it toward the officer so there's no excuse not to see it. Officer Brooks glances at the paper. He does not take it. Instead, he asks Roe a question, then Dana. His attention stays with them. That moment will matter later. When Brooks finally addresses Marcus, it's with a phrase Marcus recognizes instantly. His reaction proves it. "Sir, just stay right there for me." Marcus freezes. He lowers his hands slowly, receipt still visible. He takes a small step backward, not to leave, but to create space. The kind of movement people make when they know things can go sideways fast. Rowe steps closer, too close. Brooks raises a hand to stop him but doesn't push him back. He looks Marcus over now, top to bottom. Clothing, boots, build, face. Dana says something short. Brooks nods. In the incident report, this moment will be summarized in one line. Subject matched theft profile. On video, it looks like a decision made without checking anything that actually matters. Brooks asks Marcus to walk to the back room just to clear this up. Marcus hesitates for half a second. He lifts the receipt again like a final card. Brooks gestures vaguely, meaning later. The back room is narrow concrete walls, lower quality camera, still clear enough. Marcus is told to place the bag on the table. He does, slowly. He's told to step back. He does. He's told to turn slightly sideways. He complies. No handcuffs, not yet. Rowe opens the bag. He removes the items one by one and lays them out on the table. Each time he checks the receipt. One match after another. Perfect alignment. Dana leans in closer. Her expression changes. She says nothing. Brooks finally takes the receipt. He studies it longer than anyone before him. Then he pulls out a small notebook and writes something down. He looks up. "You paid with a card?" Marcus nods immediately. Sharp, almost relieved, he names the bank. The time, the total amount. He even points to the exact line on the receipt. Brooks leaves the room with the receipt. The camera stays on Marcus. He stands alone, arms at his sides, jaw tight. He looks at the floor, then briefly at the camera, then back down again. This is not the posture of someone afraid of being caught. It's the posture of someone who knows the question isn't whether he paid, it's whether that even matters. Almost 6 minutes pass. When Brooks returns, he's holding a tablet now, access to the register system. His face is neutral, too neutral. He looks at Dana, then at Rowe, and asks a question witnesses will later confirm. "Why did you call this in before checking the register?" Rowe answers immediately. Dana doesn't. Marcus lifts his head. For the first time on camera, he doesn't look calm. He looks insulted. Not angry, not threatening, insulted. Brooks looks at Marcus again, longer this time, slower, like something finally clicked. But by now, the process is already moving. And even if it stops here, the damage is already done. Officer Brooks stands at the service desk with the tablet angled toward him, one hand on his belt, the other scrolling. The screen reflects faintly in the glass behind the counter. Dana Klein watches him now, really watches, her posture no longer defensive, just tense. Gavin Rowe hovers a step back, arms folded. He doesn't speak. Brooks taps the screen twice, then pauses. His thumb stops moving. He looks up at Dana. "Register 3, Dana nods. "Lane 3, Kelsey." Brooks turns the tablet so she can see it. He points to a line entry, timestamp 6:18 and 43 seconds. Item count 4, payment method Visa. Status approved. Dana leans closer. Her jaw tightens. Brooks scrolls again. The transaction expands, SKU numbers, prices, tax. Everything aligns with the receipt in his other hand. There's no discrepancy, no void. No manual override, no red flag. Behind them, the cashier, Kelsey Tran, stands frozen at her lane. When Brooks waves her over, she flinches before moving. She confirms what the system already says. "Yes, he paid. Card went through, I gave him the receipt." Her voice is small but steady. Brooks nods once. Then he opens a second screen on the tablet, Bodycam interface syncing with dispatch notes. He frowns slightly. "Why does the call say, refuse to cooperate?" Rowe clears his throat. "He was argumentative, didn't want to come with us." Brooks doesn't look at him, he looks at Marcus instead, still standing in the back room, still waiting where he was told to wait. Brooks walks back, he stops a few feet from Marcus, posture different now, less squared, less authoritative. "Mr. Hill," he says, using his name for the first time, "your purchase is confirmed, the register log and the receipt match. Your card transaction cleared." Marcus stares at him for a second, processing, then he exhales a sharp, humorless breath. "So am I free to go?" he asks. Brooks hesitates, just long enough to matter. "Yes," he says finally. "You're free to go." Marcus doesn't move right away. He looks past Brooks through the open door toward the service desk, toward Roe, toward Dana. "I want my bag," he says. "And I want an explanation." Brooks turns, gestures to Roe. The bag is handed over. The items are already repacked, but sloppily now. The care is gone. Dana steps forward. She opens her mouth, then closes it again. Whatever she planned to say doesn't come out. "I was stopped," Marcus says, voice controlled but firm, "because I fit a profile." That's what he said. He nods toward Roe. "I showed my receipt, nobody looked." "You called the police anyway." The back room camera catches Dana's face shift, not denial but calculation. Brooks writes something in his notebook, slowly, deliberately. "That statement about a profile, who said that?" he asks. Dana doesn't answer, Roe does. "It's just terminology, loss prevention language." Brooks looks up at him. "It's not language we use." Silence stretches. Marcus shifts his weight, adjusting the bag on his shoulder. "So what now?" he asks. "I just walk out like this didn't happen?" Dana finally speaks. "Sir, if there was any misunderstanding," Marcus cuts her off, not loudly, not rudely. "There wasn't a misunderstanding," he says. "There was an assumption." That lands. Brooks closes his notebook. "I'm going to need copies of the CCTV footage," he says to Dana, "and the internal call log. This is going in my report." Dana's eyes flicker. "Is that necessary?" Brooks meets her gaze. "Yes." Marcus watches this exchange closely. Something in his expression changes, not relief but resolve. As Brooks walks Marcus toward the exit, shoppers pretend not to stare. The sliding doors open, evening light spills in. At the threshold, Marcus stops. "I want the incident number," he says, "and the store manager's name." Brooks gives both without hesitation. Marcus nods once. "Good." He steps outside. Behind the glass, Dana turns on Roe. Her voice is low, sharp, urgent. The camera doesn't catch the words, but it catches the tone. Corporate panic just beginning to surface. Because the receipt wasn't the problem. The transaction wasn't the problem. The problem is that now there's video, a police report, a confirmed purchase, and a black man who was accused anyway. And that's the kind of paper trail that doesn't disappear. The store doesn't sleep that night. By 9:07 p.m., Dana Klein is still in her office with the door closed, laptop open, phone pressed to her ear. The overhead lights in Ridgeway Market are dimmed for closing, but her screen is bright, emails stacking faster than she can read them. She doesn't leave a voicemail for corporate. Corporate calls her. The subject line hits first, "Urgent police incident / customer detention." Someone at the district level already knows. That means the officer filed preliminary notes before his shift ended. That means the phrase "matched theft profile" is now internal data, not a rumor. Dana pulls the CCTV clip again. She rewinds to the moment Marcus is stopped near the doors. She watches his hands, open, empty, visible. She watches Roe block his path. She doesn't rewind to look for theft. She rewinds to assess exposure. Across town, Marcus sits at his kitchen table in a small apartment near East Broad Street. His food is untouched. The receipt is laid flat beside his phone, smoothed out like evidence. He hasn't told anyone yet, not because he's unsure what happened, but because he's deciding what comes next. He pulls up his banking app. Pending transaction, Ridgeway Market, $87.42, approved. He screenshots it, then he checks the timestamp. It matches the receipt, matches the register log, matches the CCTV, 3 independent systems, same story. Marcus opens his notes app and starts writing. Times, names, descriptions. Exact words he remembers. He doesn't dramatize, he documents. Clean, factual, because he knows something the store doesn't yet fully understand. This isn't a complaint, it's a record. At 8:14 a.m. the next morning, Dana is pulled into a regional conference call. No small talk, no easing in. Why was police contacted before register verification? Who made the call? Why was a receipt dismissed? Why does the report reference profiling language? Dana answers carefully. She uses words like procedure, interpretation, escalation. She avoids names where possible, but one name keeps coming up. Gavin Roe, Loss Prevention, submits its internal report. It doesn't match the police timeline, not exactly. The order of events is flexible. A detail here, a phrase softened there. It's not a lie, it's worse. It's defensive editing. By noon, HR is looped in. By 2:30 p.m., legal wants the footage preserved, unaltered. That instruction alone tells Dana how serious this just became. At 3:02 p.m., Marcus gets an email. Subject, regarding your experience at Ridgeway Market, it's polite, apologetic in tone, vague in substance. It thanks him for bringing the matter to attention and promises a full review. No admission, no names, no accountability. Marcus reads it once. Then he forwards it to a civil rights attorney recommended by a coworker. He adds 3 attachments, the receipt, the bank screenshot, and the incident number. The attorney responds less than an hour later. They confirm the transaction. Marcus replies with one word, yes. That changes the posture of everything. Back at Ridgeway Market, Dana is instructed to place Rowe on administrative leave pending review. He's told it's temporary, standard, precautionary. He doesn't buy it. He asks if the customer was black. No one answers him. Training modules are suddenly resurfaced. Implicit bias, police escalation, customer detention thresholds. Policies that existed on paper but lived in drawers are now being reread with urgency. Because this isn't just about Marcus Hill anymore. It's about footage. It's about a police report. It's about a confirmed transaction that was ignored. And it's about how fast a routine stop turned into a reputational liability. The store thought the incident ended when Marcus walked out the door. In reality, that's when it finally started. By the end of the week, the situation is no longer internal. The Columbus Police Department flags the incident for supervisory review. Not because force was used, but because it almost was. The bodycam footage, synced with the store's CCTV, tells a story that doesn't align with the original call summary. One line in particular draws attention: suspect refused to cooperate. The video shows the opposite. Officer Brooks is called in to give a supplemental statement. He doesn't embellish, he doesn't protect the store. He sticks to sequence and fact. Receipt offered, receipt ignored. Police contacted before register verification. When asked about the theft profile language, Brooks pauses, just long enough to be recorded. That wasn't my terminology, he says. It came from store staff. That sentence changes the tone of the review. The department updates the call classification retroactively from theft in progress to unfounded detention request. That's bureaucratic language, but it carries weight. It means the police should never have been called the way they were. Across the city, Ridgeway Market's legal team finalizes its risk assessment. Exposure areas are listed plainly. False detention, discriminatory profiling, reputational damage, escalation to law enforcement without cause. What's missing from the list is intent. That doesn't help them. Corporate issues a directive. No loss prevention employee is to detain a customer post-transaction without register verification. Effective immediately, not next quarter. Now, they also add a new requirement: any call to police must be approved by management and documented with specific cause. Too late for Marcus, useful for the next person. Gavin Rowe is formally interviewed by HR. The meeting lasts 38 minutes. He uses the phrase pattern recognition twice. He says he was acting on experience. HR writes that down. They also write down that Marcus Hill had a receipt, a confirmed card charge, and cooperated fully. Rowe is terminated the following Monday. The email is short. Violation of company policy. No mention of race. None needed. Dana Klein keeps her job but not her authority. She's reassigned pending retraining. Her performance review is flagged. Future promotion paths quietly close. At the police department, a training bulletin is circulated, not naming Marcus, not naming the store, but referencing recent retail detention incidents involving biased third-party reporting. That bulletin becomes mandatory reading. Marcus is informed of all this secondhand through his attorney. None of it feels satisfying. He didn't want policy updates. He didn't want someone fired. He wanted not to be stopped in the first place. Still, the facts are lining up. The paper trail is clean. The leverage is real. Ridgeway Market requests a private meeting. They frame it as a conversation. Legal frames it as damage control. A settlement number is discussed internally before Marcus ever hears it. Because once bias is documented and proof is time-stamped, the only question left is cost. And this one isn't going to be cheap. The meeting happens in a downtown office building Marcus has driven past 100 times and never entered. Glass walls, neutral art. Bottled water no one touches. On one side of the table, 2 attorneys for Ridgeway Market, a regional HR director, and a risk consultant who doesn't introduce himself. On the other, Marcus Hill and his attorney, Elaine Porter, calm, precise, already 3 steps ahead. They don't argue the facts, that's the tell. They acknowledge the detention, they acknowledge the receipt. They acknowledge the verified bank transaction. They acknowledge that police were called before the register was checked. They do not say the word racism. Elaine does. She doesn't raise her voice, she doesn't editorialize, she simply connects the dots. Language used, sequence of actions, disparate treatment, documented proof. Then she slides a folder across the table. Inside, CCTV timestamps, register logs, bank confirmation, police report, addendum, HR findings, termination, notice, a closed loop. The room shifts, the number comes out next, quietly, carefully, framed as resolution without admission of wrongdoing. $1.8 million, compensation, legal fees covered, a written apology, mandatory policy reform. Third-party bias training, updated police contact protocols. Marcus doesn't react right away. Money isn't vindication, it's acknowledgement with a price tag. He asks one question. What changes so this doesn't happen again? The HR director answers this time, not legal. Loss Prevention Authority reduced mandatory register verification, no police contact without managerial review, annual bias audits, bodycam review cooperation clauses. It's all written down. Enforceable. Marcus nods, he signs. The agreement includes a confidentiality clause. Standard, expected. He can't talk numbers, he can't name individuals publicly, but facts are still facts. The police department closes its internal review with a formal note. Call escalation based on insufficient cause. Officer Brooks receives no discipline. Instead, he's cited for corrective questioning that prevented further escalation. That matters to Marcus more than the settlement does. Gavin Rowe files for unemployment. It's denied. Cause, policy violation. Dana Klein completes retraining. She transfers stores 6 months later. Smaller market, lower volume. Fewer eyes. Ridgeway Market rolls out its updated policy nationwide. Press release language is clean, corporate, future-facing, commitment to equity, enhanced customer trust. Learning opportunity, Marcus reads it once. Then closes the tab. A month later, he walks into a different store. Different chain, same routine. He shops, he pays, he leaves. No one stops him. That's the real resolution, not the settlement, not the firing. Not the training modules, just the absence of the moment that shouldn't have happened in the first place. One part remains, the one no policy can close. The video goes public 3 months later, not the settlement, not the numbers. Just the footage, a clipped time-stamp sequence released through a public records request. Ridgeway Market ceiling camera, the service desk angle, the backroom feed, and the police bodycam. No narration, no music. No captions beyond the clock in the corner. It doesn't need help. People watch a black man shop. They watch him pay. They watch him show a receipt. They watch it get ignored. They watch the police get called anyway. The comment sections light up fast. Some people focus on the outcome, others fixate on the tone. A few argue semantics, most don't argue at all, because the proof is boring. That's what makes it undeniable. Ridgeway Market releases a statement within hours. It's tighter than the first one. Legal approved, apologetic without admitting motive. They announce updated policies, mandatory retraining, revised loss prevention authority. A renewed commitment to customer dignity. The police department issues its own statement, short, factual. The call should not have been classified the way it was. Officer Brooks followed corrective procedure once discrepancies were identified. Marcus doesn't comment publicly, he doesn't need to. His name trends anyway, not because of who he is, but because of what happened to him and how ordinary it was. News outlets run the story for a cycle. Then another incident replaces it, then another. But inside corporate offices, HR departments, and police briefings, the clip doesn't disappear. It's used in training, it's referenced in meetings, it becomes a case study. Not labeled racism in the slides, just labeled risk. Because that's how systems change when behavior becomes expensive, documented, and repeatable. Marcus goes back to his life. Same job, same commute, same routines. Except now when he folds a receipt, he doesn't put it away right away. He holds it, just in case. And now the question, if you were Marcus, paid in full, receipt in hand, transaction confirmed, and someone stopped you anyway because you fit a type, what would you have done? Drop it and move on, push back in the moment, document everything and let the system answer for itself. Say it in the comments.